Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Help with Harrz series where I review subscribers' gameplays to make them a better Call of Duty player. At least I hope that's what this is doing. Before we get into today's video, I want to just give you guys a little bit of an update, and maybe I'm asking for feedback on how I can manage the amount of submissions I'm getting in this series. Now, obviously, if you don't care and you don't want to put your input in, just skip a couple minutes ahead, because this is going to be a couple minutes where I just need your input. If you do want to feel like you can input into the series, because at the end of the day, it's a community series, just feel free to stick around and comment down in the description or message me on Discord with any thoughts you might have. So the predicament I have, the problem I have, is I'm getting a lot of submissions. Now, that's not a bad thing necessarily, because it means there's a variety of gameplay out there for me to review, which is obviously good. However, it does mean I'm struggling to cover every single video. In order for me to cover every single video submission, I need to do 3 a day, which simply isn't feasible for me, as you guys can probably understand. So what I've been doing till this point, and I'm trying to work out the best way to do it so you guys get the most benefit as a community. First option, which is sort of what I've been doing, is I've been going through the forums and looking at the reasons behind why they want me to review the gameplay. So in each form there's, what do you want me to focus on when I review your gameplay? And chances are, if I see a submission form which says something exactly like one I've already reviewed, chances are that's not going to get looked at straight away. I'm going to be looking for ones that have a little bit more of a unique reason why they want me to review your gameplay. For example, the one we're looking at today is how to be control the game as a sub player on Hardpoint, which is something I haven't covered yet. So this is why this is the focus of today's video. And that's what I've been doing. I've sort of been going through, looking at the descriptions and saying, okay, what can I bring new to the community so that I can help more players? So that's what I've been doing, and that's what I sort of aim to continue to do. But the downside to that is sometimes it means that I'm a couple of weeks late behind getting the submissions out, and obviously I can't do all the submissions anyway. But yeah, the only downside to that is it's going to be late. It's going to take a couple of weeks for me to get some of the forms out and get them out as videos. The other side of that is I could wipe clean everything prior to the current week I'm doing. So I only look at what was submitted in the last 7 days and review that, so that I do get the most up-to-date gameplays reviewed. But it does mean then that I don't quite have the variety of gameplays to look at, and it might be the same topics I talk about over and over again, which obviously is the downside to doing that. So it's up to you guys what you'd prefer, whether you guys would prefer me to cover a variety of things, a variety of people's needs to improve, or more recent videos. It's completely your choice. Obviously, I'm happy to do either. I would prefer to do it the first way, but as a community, if you feel like it's better to do it the second way, just so the videos are more up to date, you can let me know. Obviously, down in the description, down in the comments, sorry, or message me on Discord if you want to have a conversation about it or whatever, in a little bit more depth. So that's the boring bit done. Sorry to take 3 minutes of your time. Obviously, if you skipped to this point, brilliant. But today we're going to be reviewing OP Grimm's or Zero's gameplay. They're on PC, they play 20 hours a week. Their current rank is Platinum 2, but the highest rank in MW2 was Crimson. So there's something obviously limiting them at this point. Maybe they just don't have the game time. But Plat 2 to Crimson's quite a big jump, so we'll see maybe what the reason for that is as well. They have decent settings. The only thing I would say is 110 FOV is maybe a little bit too high, but it's personal preference. For me, and for a lot of people, 105 is the sweet spot because it maintains a decent amount of aim assist, is somewhat a little bit stronger, or the illusions that are a little bit stronger. But yeah, it's completely up to you, I guess. And then setup looks really good. So what do you want me to focus on? Decision making, centering is bad at times. I started learning multiplayer last year. Before then, all I knew was Warzone and TDM, which is probably why your FOV is 110. So if you can catch any bad tendencies I'm ignorant about, that would be great. Fine, that's what I'm going to be doing. What do you want me to focus on? What do you struggle with? Normally a sub player, but do flex. It's hard to control the game as a sub for me on Hardpoint. Now that's what I'm going to focus on here, how to control the game as a sub, because there's probably a bunch of sub players out there who feel like they're doing all the work. In the gameplay here, the player we're looking at gets a really good stat line. They get a decent amount of kills with low deaths, decent amount of kill time, but they still can't get the win. Now the reason sub players tend to struggle to control the map is because you can control a less area in the map with the submachine gun, just because the gun's not effective at ranges that the AR would be. And as a result, the AR can rotate more effectively, it can block spawns more effectively, and it can make a bigger impact from moving as little as possible. Whereas the sub, it's a little bit more difficult. So that's going to be the focus of today's video. But obviously I'm going to cover anything else I notice in the video itself. They need to find the balance of playing the objective and when to be I feel like I do all right on Rio since I can use the sub, but my win rate is terrible. Be as brutal as you can for me to improve. Oh, I will be. I will be, don't you worry. So let's turn this music off. If you can tell me what game is this from, bonus points to you. And let's get into the gameplay. So this is actually Rio Hardpoint we've got here. And there's one thing I am going to focus on is how many important gunfights do you win? Obviously, I've already seen your stat line at the end because I do have to check the video just in case there's someone swearing or saying awful words. And you do perform really well. But are there gunfights that you should have won that may have been the decider on whether or not you win the game? So the difference between an important gunfight and a not important gunfight is important gunfights to me are ones that win you the rotation, win you the spawns, win you most time on the hill. General kills don't really matter too much. It just, it stops them from getting kill streaks. I guess it gives you an opportunity to get kill streaks and it just applies pressure. So we are going to be focusing on them really pivotal gunfights that hopefully you're winning, but potentially not if you're losing this game with such a decent stat line. So you just had a call out that a teammate has just died from the back. So that's some really that gunfight there, I would say, is a key gunfight. If this guy kills you, you spawn all the way back with your teammates. If you kill them, it gives you the opportunity to stay alive. So that's one win in a pivotal gunfight that I'm going to give you there. I'm doing a little tally just out of interest to see how this goes. Unfortunately, you are weak, but again, this gunfight probably could have been managed a little bit better here. So I'm being really picky here because you've asked me to be. This guy is a fair distance away from you. You have a stun, you have a nade. This pillar you're behind here is great cover. You do not need to chow out like you did there. There's no reason to do that whatsoever. You've given yourself barely any cover, and you've in essence you shorten the distance between you and your player, you and the enemy, whilst you still need to heal. So I would have stayed behind the pillar here, and then I'd have shouldered it, thrown a stun, a floor so the stun would bounce and stun the player, regenerate health, and then go for the kill. Obviously, hindsight's wonderful, and in the moment it's hard to make those decisions, but what you've done here is you've just jumped out into the open, and you've made the gunfight a really tight gunfight here, which it really didn't need to be. Stay behind the pillar, throw a stun this way, it will stun them, and then you can either decide to run back to get the spawns, or you can take the kill onwards and then play from there. But realistically, that's a gunfight you probably could have played a little bit better. Perhaps you panic because you're weak, I'm not sure, but it's those decision makings that make the difference in this game. So you probably know the spawns here, but if you're spawning here, this essentially tells you that the enemy team is spawning, or going to be spawning, the other side of P2. So it's fairly simple spawns on P2 on this map. But I like this pinch. Your teammates just got 2. And you're just going sort of all the way around. You just... Nice kill there. Ooh, good win. I was worried you were going to lose that. But that gunfight right there was a pivotal gunfight. If he'd have killed you, he'd have progressed up the map and got the spawns. If you'd have killed him, you're now in the back and you've got the potential to pinch the spawn. So that's a dub for you. Again, they're the gunfights that you need to be winning to not just get a good stat line, but to win the game overall. Now, what you've done there is fairly underrated. So you're very aware that your teammates are over here, and as a result, your enemy's going to be spawning sort of over this way here. Now, because you're the furthest pushed up the map, you're allowing your teammates to, instead of you hopping the point, you're allowing your teammates to hop the point, and you're going around to get the cuts, which is a very underrated play. Not a lot of people do that. You get the cut on the guy, but unfortunately your teammates don't seem to be getting the hill. This guy, I don't know what he's doing here. God knows. But you're doing the most you can do. The only thing I would say is you've perhaps pushed a little bit too far. So after getting that kill, after getting that kill you just got here, this one, pull back a little bit. You do not want to flip at this point because you do not want these back spawns here for the new hill. But you've pushed a little bit far out. I mean, the enemy's probably already spawning out at this point anyway, but you probably should have been a little bit savvy to the fact that they've been spawning to the side. But hey, this should be all your time. You've got decent control here. I don't like this. So there are 3 ways, obviously, you can get to the new hill. There's obviously this, there's 4, I guess, through the eskies, down the stairs, all the way around under the bridge or around the left. They're the 4 ways you can probably attack this hill. Now, 2 of these, this route and this route, are only going to hit the hill. You're not going to hit the spawn. The other 2, going around the right or go around the left, are going to potentially hit the spawn. So when you try and when you say you want to control the map as a sub player, you've got to at least try and control the map here. You want to get into the spawn before rotating to the hill. This is a very common mistake I see a lot of people make, and it's when they say they're rotating, yeah, they're rotating to the hill, but they're not rotating for the spawn. You need to rotate deep into this hill. You need to, if this were me, I'd have maybe, I mean, you do get a kill here, I believe, but you want to rotate all the way around, get in the spawn, let your teammates get some kills, have your teammates spawn with you, and then you attack the hill. That's the best way you can do that. Otherwise, you're just going to be spawning out every single time, running from Narnia to get to the hill. But yeah, okay. Let's break down how we lost that. So, big gunfight there, huge win there. Your teammates also got a kill, so these next gunfights are massive as long as your teammates, you know, crank up the gear a bit. But people haven't, you've just spawned where you've just spawned, back B2, which tells you that at that point the enemy team was spawning sort of round here, the other side, maybe back here, or around the other side of this building. They haven't died in a while. The only two people that have died on the kill feed are two people, one you've killed and one your teammates literally just killed, which tells you there's still two people lingering around somewhere. So reloading or sliding to here like you did in reloading probably wasn't the smartest play. There's still two people you're looking for here, and perhaps maybe you need to be a little bit more aware of that, but that's fine. So again, you're going to want to go left. The best way to break this spawn and get into the spawn is to go all the way around the left, through the garage, all the way into the spawn, and again, wait for the teammates to push. If they get kills, great. If they don't, they die, and hopefully they spawn on you because you're there. But worst case scenario, what you're doing back there in the spawn is you're at least spawning the enemy out as well. So that's something you perhaps could have done a little bit more effectively to control the map as a sub player. Thankfully, Rio's a map where you can do that with a sub. But I'd have liked to see you do that a little bit more, maybe a little bit more focus on the spawn rather than the hill. Nice two-piece there. You currently got a good, decent amount of momentum with your team. That's 3 down. They're going to be spawning close because no one's blocked that spawn yet. If your teammate's pushed out here, which is where he has, chances are they're going to be spawning back here. So they're probably going to be running like this. Well, at least some of them. I mean, it depends what timing they get when they spawn in. Yeah, that's rough. Your teammate's holding on to a trophy. I don't know why. Okay, and you're rotating to new here. So this gunfight, if you take on a gunfight here, you need to win. This is a massive gunfight win here. You're playing very quickly here. You're stunning over here just to say, okay, I can guarantee no one's coming from there. Or if you do get a stun, you can say, okay, there definitely is someone coming from there. That's great. So there's many corners you've got to check. You've got to assume they're already sort of rotating here, especially considering you haven't just got 4 down. You need to assume at least some people are here. So a common place they sit is either on this corner here. They could be boxes. They could be here, but you've already checked this, so they're not going to be here. They could be garage, and they can be behind the van. So you sort of need to be a bit cautious here. You've just stunned long and protected yourself from that long line of sight initially here because of the stun. So take your time to check the corners rather than pushing up quite so aggressively here. Good nade. I don't know necessarily whether or not you should have naded that, but hey, you got the kill. The only thing I would say is if you'd have just killed them and stayed alive, you'd have been able to progress into garage and push up the map. Now, I really like this flank. This is something that they're not going to expect. They're getting a lot of kills here. The enemy team are getting a lot of kills anyway. And your team, they're going to assume your team is coming from, well, where your teammate is. So yeah, I like this flank a lot. The only thing I would say, I'd have probably gone deeper. I'd have probably gone all the way around into the garage, but hey, we'll see how this plays out. And the only reason I do that, so especially when you get to here, so these doors are shut, which tells you that because these doors wouldn't have been open, these doors would have been open by now, 100%. It's P4. These most likely would have been open. So this tells me that someone's either shut this just so that they can get audio noise that someone's going to be coming through here, or they've shut this because they're sat in this corner, or literally behind the heady watching down to the hill, or something like that. So I would put money on there someone being behind here, and as a result you're going to have to make noise to get through here. Whether you peek it, whether you bash it, they're going to hear you. But let's say, for example, you do get through there. Let's say there is no one behind there, you do get through there. What gunfights are you taking on? Are they long-range gunfights? Sort of. They are, realistically. Now, the gunfight you're taking on here from boxes is a fair stretch towards the hill. If there's an AR player watching boxes, you're going to die. Which is why I sort of said rotating around the garage would probably be a little bit more effective for you, because all the engagements you're going to come across there are close range, or you're probably going to be shooting people in the back. But yeah, that's something I would just say. but we'll see how this plays out. Okay, so you peek the door, he hears, turns round, you slide, unfortunately miss a couple shots, but you overslid there a little bit, which I guess if you slow this down quite a lot, don't want subtitles. I guess the slide saved you from this player here, but made you out in the open to this player here. But that's fine. I don't know whether you panicked because you started to get shot in the back or not, but if that were me, the thing you can learn from that is if that door's ever shut and you're in that sort of position again, just bash it open. It leaves the enemy no time to turn around. You're already through before they've realised you've just bashed the door open, and you can move from there. So again, I like the flank. You're sort of saying, okay, am I going to be able to... You're not going to really have to push the hill from the front because of the gunfights you're going to have to take, but you're trying the same flank yet again, which worries me a little bit. It's like you need to be trying to learn from the mistakes you're making here. You've bashed out. That's a big tick on my book. You've learned that. That's probably the most effective thing to do. You've cleared this area here, but now, as you can see, you're sort of in a gun range where you're sort of stuck here. I mean, you do get a kill, which is all the teammates can ask of you here. But yeah, I'd have perhaps pre-aimed this. You try to get away here. Now, if you did just came pre-aiming here, you'd have won that gunfight, but I'd have lost that gunfight. I would not have known that player was there whatsoever. I perhaps would have pre-aimed this still, just because chances are, you know, someone's still on the hill. You know there's a person there, so you're still looking for one player. Personally, I'd have assumed they were on the top of the garage, so I'd have at least pre-aimed bottom here, just in case they slid out. But this guy was unexpected. I don't think that's a bad loss whatsoever. That's a hard one to read, unless you got walls. Okay, so we're currently 60 points down, 70 going into the new hill. Let's see how we play this out. Okay, pivotal gunfight number 5. We've lost. So if you win that, you can guarantee pretty much that you can get control of the new hill, give or take. I mean, there's still a couple people at old, but you've lost that gunfight. You're now going to be spawning out. Your teammates lost that gunfight, and you're all the way back here. Now, having P1 control is so important on this map because it allows your teammates just to watch front. If you're up in P1, being an absolute nightmare with the sub, playing as well as you can with a sub here, it allows your teammates to only really need to focus on the front way, and they don't have to worry about their top bridge. They don't have to worry about being pinched because you're P1, you're holding that flank. So that's what I'd advise doing on this map, especially if your teammates are all very much forward hitting players, which they seem to be. They seem to be very linear. Again, you've always been taking routes this map anyway, so I don't think that's such a problem. But yeah, that's a weird gunfight. So I'm going to judge this gunfight, actually. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to judge it because you could have won it. Now, I understand you are looking here. And so you've ADS'd transferred, you've aim transferred, whatever you want to call it, over to the player. A quicker way to do that is to pull out of your ADS, turn using your normal sensitivity, and then re-aim in. That's going to be a little bit snappier. And then as you do that, because of the way they're running, I mean, this is really hard to do in the moment, but try and do this, and then you might be a bit more beneficial. He's going to be sliding pretty much right at you, or he's going to jump or whatever. Laying down isn't the best situation here. You need to sort of counter what he's doing here. He's not done anything offset, to be fair. But laying down probably wasn't the best thing here. I'd have perhaps jumped to my left. So I don't know. I mean, you've got the Envision Pro. You've got jumping capabilities. Let's just skip ahead here. As soon as you're transferred, jump left towards where you're going, and then if you literally did a bunny hop like that way, you'd have probably got the kill. So yeah, in a gunfight that close, I don't recommend drop shotting, especially when you've got an AR. Try and abuse that headshot multiplier with the AR at that range. You might have won that gunfight. So let's get this back to normal speed because this is jarring. Okay, so you've got map control. You've just got a player dead. Your teammate traded you out there. So it's a 3 versus 3. Unfortunately, they do have a cruise which managed to get 2 of your teammates here. But I like this. So, excuse me. The one thing I don't like is you already know you're going to be going up to here and you have a trophy in your back pocket. Why not just throw a trophy at your feet, stopping you from getting naded, stopping you from getting stunned, And generally it will help your team get to the hill if any enemy decides to throw a nade over. If you already know you're going up here, defend that position because you're the only one that's furthest up. At this point, it's not a wasted trophy. You throw a trophy here, any nades or stuns aren't going to affect you. You're the furthest up on the map other than your teammate here, and you need to hold this position. So that's not a waste of a trophy. Throw it down here, you're probably far better off. Yeah, you've been stunned left, right, and rhubarb. So yeah, a trophy there probably would have saved your life, and you perhaps would have got a kill, maybe another kill. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is a sticky situation. So I like this, you're rotating a little bit early here. This is the route I'd have loved to have seen you take halfway through that hill. You kept hitting the hill very, very head on, pushing it exactly where they thought you should be, and not being unpredictable. So I'd have liked to have seen that gunfight, or that play out of you pushing through P1 way earlier into the round there. So you're probably going to flip here. The kills you've just got are whilst P5 is still active, and your players pushed here, you've pushed through here, so they're probably going to flip depending on where your other two players are blocking. But I'd have money on them flipping towards P2, which obviously isn't what you want to be doing. Yeah. Okay, so you've read that really well. Love that. You've learned from your mistake of letting them just die to a nade in the first place. So again, love that. And that's a massive three-piece. Huge three-piece here. Your teammates have just spawned here, which should tell you that essentially it's a 1 versus 1 on the hill now, because you've just killed 3. All your teammates are in Narnia. You need to play for this hill very cleverly. And this is I mean, you've just won those 2 pivotal gunfights, I guess. So that's another 2 in the tally. Because realistically, you die there, they get the hill. That's a really hard read. Okay. Could you have read that? I think so. Maybe a little bit. So the fact your teammates are spawning so far deep should tell you there's someone pinching. But if I'm honest, in the moment, I probably would have not realised this guy was here either. So that's a really tough loss of a gunfight there. That's not much you can be done. But your teammates at least got the trade, which is all you can really ask for, I guess. I like this approach. A lot of the enemies. Yeah, I like this completely. Really good play, really good use of attacks and stuns. Switch because it's quicker than reloading. I love that. Really good gunfights out of you there. Just to stop the enemy from getting into the hill whatsoever. You're then rotating with good time. Good gunfight there. Now that, for me, I'm going to go back to this, is pivotal. Currently, this spawn back here is being blocked by this player and you, which means this gunfight is massive. One of you needs to die to open up the spawns for P2 here, and thankfully, you in the gunfight, allowing your teammate to then spawn in just here. So that's massive. That's a huge gunfight win for you there. That's a gunfight that matters because it's going to get you P2 spawns. Nice, you're checking everything you need to. And you're staying down on time. I don't mind this whatsoever. I wouldn't mind some snaking. Just because you need info. At the moment, you're not getting any info. You have no idea where anyone's coming from. If you snake this a little bit, at least you can know where people are. Maybe get a bullet out, maybe get 2. But at least you're doing something other than hiding behind a box, not really sure where you're going to get pinched from. But hey. So maybe just get into a private lobby, try and learn to snake a little bit, and use that in your day-to-day, just because it's not as abusive as it used to be, but it's nice just for those sort of situations where you can check for enemies incoming. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to how we lost that play there. So yeah, snaking would have helped, but your teammates dying probably didn't help either. Nade could have been a little bit better. Yeah, unfortunately hit the box, but that's not a problem. Rough. Okay. So, this is big. This is for 30 seconds. Now, if the enemy gets this, they're 100 points ahead of you. If you get this, you at least clear it a little bit back. You're 40 points behind the enemy here. So, this is a massive gunfight that you need to try and take here. Personally, in this situation, I would have left that guy at the pillars. And the reason I've left that guy at the pillars is because he's pretty much behind cover. It's a really tricky gunfight. At most, if I wanted to focus on this guy, I'd have slid down and then attacked him from there. But from here, you're not really going to do much. And you've got 2 teammates watching him from that way and that way, meaning that realistically, he's pretty stuck behind that pillar. So I don't think it needs your attention as well. So yeah, that's all I'm saying about that one. Perhaps I would have probably looked for the guy on the hill first, but that's not a problem. Big gunfights out. The teammates there, they're still on the hill, but you do get the scrap. 20 seconds, I imagine. So we didn't get the spawns for P3 last time. I wonder how much we've learned this time to try and get the spawns here. Potentially pivotal gunfight loss, but hey, that is what it is. It's fine. If you'd have won that, you might have been able to get into the spawn and flip the rotations. Realistically, I don't think it was that much of a pivotal moment, because there probably was someone else behind them as well. So yeah, I can't emphasize this enough. On Rio, going from P2 to P3, if you want the spawns, play through P2, go down the left here, through the garage and get into their spawns, because otherwise you're just going to keep spawning the other side of P1, hitting it dead on, face on every single time. It's just it's a really hard fight to win. Even now, I mean, there's so much time left on the hill. Just take a route round. It's going to take you 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds to get around. Maybe not even 20. It's probably going to take you 10 seconds to get around, realistically, because of how fast you move in this game. Get around, get the spawns, and then push the hill. Don't forget, rotating doesn't mean rotating to the hill all the time. A lot of the time, it means rotating for the spawns, and then rotate to the hill when you've got the spawns. This is a nice play out of you here. Thankfully, now I want to see how this happened. I think you just won the face on kills. Yeah, so your teammates are getting decent kills here. You're trading your teammates out. That's 3 down. Your teammates just spawned in because the last guy on the enemy team was shooting you from P1. Great play out of the team. Good coordination considering you're solo queuing. Love that. Nice. Spun on. Good win. You just gone 3 down. The dude just got a 3-piece. Now, you didn't need to reload. This is all I'm going to say here. If I'm being really picky, you know a player's just died from your left. You've got the sound cue in your headset. Hopefully, that player's just fallen from your left. You've seen the red dot on the radar, and you've decided to reload with 19 bullets in your gun. Obviously, you can tell that's not the smartest thing to be doing. But yeah, unfortunately, you do fall. Teammate does trade you out, but it's really tough. Okay, so this is massive. Now, I don't like what you're doing here whatsoever, but it's fine. We'll see how it plays off. So you know there's one person on old at least. You know there's one person on new at least. So being up here is very brave, because who's to say there isn't someone back here with an AR, or back top here with an AR, just looking at you, waiting for someone to jump up here. This is a very risky move. Perhaps it pays off, perhaps it doesn't. It's not the smart thing to do. I would say it's brave, but it's probably a little bit clumsy to do that. But you won it anyway. I mean, you got to the hill. That's perfect. You won the gunfight. I'm wondering why you're not using the trophy. So this is... You've got control of a hill. I mean, I get people forgetting about trophies when they're not on the hill itself, because people don't often, see the correlation between the benefit of trophies off the hill and winning the game, I guess. But you should definitely know to use a trophy in this situation here. There's a lot of pressure going to be coming from above you. It's a hard hill to break unless they've got nades and stuns. You've tried. I mean, you were on the other side of this trying to break it last P4. You should know how hard it is to break this hill. So get the bloody trophy at your feet. And yeah, nice. But it took the stun to come through for you to realize that's what should have been done. But in any case, you got it down in the end. So tick in my books. Nice. You're putting out a lot of pressure there. Positioning, fine. I don't really care about that positioning too much. You were the first, the line of defense of your team there. I don't mind that whatsoever. This is a weird gunfight. Is what it is. You just got bad timing there. And they flipped you. So where do we run now? Okay, so we're seeing the exact same thing as we saw onto P5 here. Let's see if you expect so on P1. You do. I don't mind this. Okay. This whole gunfight is fine. I like that. You got the first kill. Unfortunately, you got traded out, but that's nothing. You couldn't really do much to help that. He was in a really cruddy corner. Okay. This break here is massive. Big kill there. Okay, that's 3 down. You need to try and get up the map. That's 3 down. You've got someone behind you to hopefully take this position off of you. You progress up the map, allow your teammate to fill in for you, and then you've got a lot of pressure forwards. Even if you move to this head glitch, or run up the ramp here and sit on the stairs and just look down at them, fine, but you need to put pressure up the map. You might as well have just been coming off spawn here if you stay here. Work off that 3 down, get up the map, put that pressure on, and don't even give them time to think. Make them, because what's happening here is for you to take on these gunfights. Let's say, I mean, if none of them have died, I'd have agreed with your position here because you've got to play for picks. However, with 3 down, you know they're coming off spawn. You know you have time to engage. You know you have time to push up with the spawn delay. Now, any enemy you see from this line of sight is going to be pretty much closer to the hill than you are. Whether they're up top, they're closer to the hill than you are. Whether they're down here, they're closer to the hill than you are. If they're back here, arguably that's further away. But realistically, you're not benefiting the team much here. You're allowing them to get to as close to the hill as you are before you even see them, which means that if you're not being effective on the map, especially considering you just got 3 down. But it's fine. To be fair, it's worked. I'm being over picky because you asked me to be. That's how you could be the absolute best you can be. But yeah, that's fine. Okay. I thought you were going to do something really smart there. So the enemy for the last 60 seconds has been fighting you coming from this way while they've been coming from this way. Oh, can't quite see that. Coming from this way. They are going to be expecting you, again, on this new hill, because of that, to be coming from here while they're coming from there. Be unpredictable. I felt for sure you were going to pick up the gun and flank and pinch round. I would have loved to have seen that play. They're not going to be reading that. Big gunfight win there. That's actually a massive gunfight win there. Unfortunately, you did lose, but that's fine. But you have spawned. You spawn in P2, so as long as you keep the spawns, but you make this hill a difficult hill for them, you should be fine. Now we're flanking. I like this. I like this. Let's see some. They need 20 seconds to win the hill here. That's not a long. That's not a lot of time. Okay. So it's a 2.5 second spawn delay. This guy's just died. I guess this is the guy you're looking for. There's only one down, and you're playing for one guy down when they need less than 20 seconds to get the hill. If this were me, stun out that door, or maybe, like, I don't know, bounce it off of here to bounce out here. That locks off, or nade, even stun, or even Semtex it. That'll block off this area for the enemy. You can then run up the Eskies and pinch people. They're not going to be expecting it whatsoever. And I think that might be the biggest mistake on the game, because, I mean, yeah, you get that kill, great. They should be expecting you here. They don't. They don't somehow. That's great. Really good pinch. But, yeah. Because, this is funny. So, this is actually funny. So, because you've just killed this guy, he was the only one dead, by the way. He was the only one dead. And because you just killed this guy, this has opened up the back spawn. This has opened up the back spawn for anyone to spawn in. Anyone can spawn here because there's no one blocking this other than you at this point. So the fact you've just got that kill, this enemy isn't going to spawn back here because you're back here, which means that this enemy is going to spawn the other side. And as a result, you've flipped the spawns. So it's that tiny little decision making which has screwed it up a little bit there. So if you'd have kept that enemy alive, or if you'd at least stunned them, kept them out there, run up the Eskies really quickly and pinch these guys anyway, I don't know whether you would have flipped. I can't guarantee you wouldn't have or not. But yeah, that push was a little bit too slow, considering how many people were dead or alive. And as a result, you flip. But you're doing a decent job from here. Nice. So this is nice play. So as soon as you understand that the enemy can't win on old, there's only 10 seconds here. They need 9. You're pushing off the hill, and you're trying to get to the new hill. But realistically, 9 seconds is not a lot of time. You have 20 seconds to work with here, because you're trusting that your teammates have got the old hill. The enemy's going to be around the new hill completely. There's 10 seconds left of old, and there's 10 seconds to win at new. You've got about 20 seconds to work with here to stop them from getting the win. Okay. Pivotal gunfight. Now, very pivotal gunfight. He got the first shot off on you. You slid. So I'm just really going to break this gunfight down. So, you've seen him. You've dragged your aim assist, dragged you to the left a bit. Then you slide. Your center is a little bit off there. You get a couple bullets in him, but you fall. That gunfight, I mean, there's many other gunfights in the game. That gunfight may have gotten you spawns. You've been able to get through. The enemy would have been looking all around for you because they know you're in the back, but you've lost it. You're now 10 seconds away from the hill with them needing 9 seconds to get to it. This is a really tricky situation. The only way you ever get a chance winning this now is if you sprint at it. Yeah, this is a slow play. I get you're probably thinking it's lost anyway, but it's definitely lost if you don't at least try and get to it. So you finished 34 and 21 with 81 seconds on hill. Pretty good, and 8 defense. So the benefit of that is the game's going to think your hidden SR, your hidden skill rating is going to be higher, and as a result, you're probably not going to lose as much, and when your next win, you're probably going to get a lot for the win. But I was keeping a tally of the pivotal gunfights, or the gunfights that mattered that game, and this is I'm only doing this because you mentioned that you want to feel like you can control the map with the sub. You lost 8 pivotal gunfights and you won 7. Now, although you went almost, not double pos, but like 50% over your deaths, you went 13 positive in the map. You actually went 1 negative on the gunfights that mattered to get spawns, to get the rotation, to get to the new hill. So that's something that maybe value your life a little bit more when you're in their spawn, or when you're trying to get to the hill. And you'd have probably been there. So although the scoreline looks really good, you got a really good scoreline here. When it came to the gunfight that matters, you were actually negative. But yeah, all this means is though you put really good pressure on the map, and I don't think that's a bad thing anyway. Your teammates did really not great, but that's fine. Sometimes you can't guarantee what teammates you do get, and realistically, I think the odds were against you anyway because you're playing against 2 diamonds, whereas when you're a full plat team. So it is what it is. But let's go with what I think we could do to improve. So I'm going to start with the good. So your shots are pretty good. I see you win a few decent gunfights at range with a sub. You're clearly a sub player. I like it. Your gunfights are really good. You're strong with a sub. Your movement is pretty good. You're slide cancelling well. You're jumping okay. You're using the pistol to move fast when you need to, just like this. I like your movement. I like your gun skill. The fact that you've played Warzone a lot does come through to this, because you can tell that your actual gun skill and the way you move around the map is good. The things you lack are probably more the COD fundamentals. So you're rotating, I guess that's a bit harsh, I guess. The rotations you're getting are good. It gets to 15-20 seconds and you're already thinking about the new hill, which is perfect, especially from someone coming from Warzone to multiplayer for the first time last year. That's awesome. That's something massive. And again, you were Crimson last year, so it's not like you're a complete idiot. You obviously know what you're doing. However, rotate for the spawns, not the hill. Once you win the spawns, then push to the hill. And if you die, great, you're spawning close anyway, so it doesn't really matter at that point. Especially on the Rio, that P3 was a real hard time to break for your team because you never had the spawns. Apart maybe the second half of the last set of rotations on P4, you had the spawns, but other than P3, sorry, you had the spawns, but other than that, you were just spawning the other side of P1 every time, running up into the spawn over and over and over again. So the one thing I would like to say is try and pay attention to how to break the setup, how to break spawns, and then how to play off the new rotation without just sitting in the new hill expecting that that's good enough. One way you could do this is, I'm going to self-promote here, but spawn guys, I do have routes you can take to get the spawns and guarantee you win the spawns. You can check that out on my Discord if you want. That, or CDL VODs, you're probably aware, it's the comp COD, the competitive side of things, like the pro players. watch their VODs. There's a mini-map on the bottom left of the recordings. Watch the Rio Hardpoint if you feel like that's the map you're struggling, and see how they rotate through the map. Specifically, look at the mini-map. Look for a player who uses the same gun as you. So let's say if you're looking at the Optic game last weekend, have a look at Shotzi's Pred's icon in the minimap and see what routes they take and mimic that. They're taking that routes because they're well practiced at the game. They know what they're doing. Use that hard work for yourself. Copy it. It's nothing shameful about that whatsoever. But from that, you should be able to obtain what routes are best to take to rotate to the new hill, because they're going to be doing it as much as anyone in this game. The only other bad thing I would say about your gameplay, because realistically it was really good, I can see why you're Crimson last year, I'm very surprised you're Plat this year, gotta be honest, is the fact that you didn't use your trophies as effectively as you could, especially on P5 and the last P4. You got to a position where you needed to play your life massively and you had a trophy in your back pocket. You got stunned and you died. Use your trophies when you get them. I think you get them every 5 kills or 20-30 seconds, whatever comes first. But yeah, use your trophies, you get them a lot. You just put them up your feet if you want to not die, because it's going to give you that little bit of an edge if a grenade comes over or if a stun comes over, and you're not going to get damaged by it. Other than that, I think it's a really good gameplay. You've got the fundamentals of being a really good comp player. Obviously, you got to Crimson last year, and I definitely think that you're going to be able to hit that again. Honestly, you have the technical ability and the skill to reach into that iridescent. I've seen worse players low iridescent, but I think there's a little bit of a step there to learn. There's a couple of mistakes I see you make in the movement. For example, that very last kill of the map where you push out of these doors right here and lose the gunfight. That's something your centering was a little bit off. So that's why I'm saying top of Crimson, I definitely foresee you getting here. I'm surprised you're still Plat, but perhaps that's a game time issue. Yeah, I definitely see you being a Crimson player. I see far more people worse in Crimson from a technical side of things. You just need to sort your fundamentals out a little bit and we're good to go. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry it's a 40-minute video. This is the longest one I've ever done, but I've been really thorough here and I hope that's been beneficial to you guys. So that'll do for me. Hope you enjoyed. Ciao for now.